looking into the future.
In this episode, we are going to talk about 1. Talking about the environment.
Hello, my dear students. How are you today? Today we are going to continue what we talked about last lesson. It will be an interesting episode. Let's get started. Welcome, my dear students. Today we are going to talk about the future of the world. We'll talk about the environment. Before we start, let's look at the following words.
Forest fires, glaciers, coast, floods, wells, drought, wildlife, corpse.
Now, let's match these words with the following sentences. You will hear a sentence and then decide which of these words the sentence is talking about.
1. When large amounts of water cover a place and cause damage. Floods.
2. Enormous pieces of ice in the mountains. Glaciers.
3. The part of a country where the land meets the sea. Coast.
4. Plants, such as rice or wheat, that people grow to eat. Crops.
5. Fires that bomb in the forests and cause a lot of damage. Forest fires.
6. Deep holes in the ground where people get drinking water. Wells.
7. Animals that live in the wild. Wildlife.
8. When it doesn't rain and plants die. Drought.
So, in today's lesson, we are going to talk about predictions. Something that we think will happen in the future. We will read an article about the future of the world. Because climate is changing, scientists predict what will happen in the world in the next 100 years. Before we read, let's find out what the new words mean. Climate, rise, pollution, factories, lorries, predict.
Climate change. The future of the world.
Scientists now agree that the world's climate is changing, but they aren't sure what exactly will happen. The world temperature may rise by 6 degrees in the next 100 years. This is caused by pollution from factories, cars, planes, and lorries. Here are some things the scientists predict.
Why is the world's climate changing?
Because of pollution from factories, cars, planes, and lorries.
What may happen in the next 100 years?
The world temperature may rise by 6 degrees.
Before we read what scientists predict, let's look at the headings of the paragraphs we'll read, and then choose the correct heading for each paragraph.
A. Sea levels. B. farming. C. Wildlife. D. We can help. E. Glaciers and ice caps. F. Droughts.
Now, in the first paragraph, we will see these words: polar ice caps, glaciers, increase, melting, skiing. Let's find these words in the texts.
The ice in the polar ice caps and in glaciers is turning into water. This will increase the sea level, and it may go up by 2 meters. Glaciers in Switzerland, Italy, and Australia are also melting, and soon there won't be snow for skiing.
What is this paragraph talking about? A. Sea levels. B. Farming. C. Wildlife. D. We can help. E. Glaciers and ice caps. F. Droughts. E. Glaciers and ice caps.
Excellent! It's talking about glaciers and ice caps. So, what is the first problem that may happen in the future? The ice is melting and turning into water. Soon, there won't be snow for skiing. Let's read the problem again.
When the sea gets warmer, the sea level gets higher. In the USA and India, parts of the coast will go underwater, and many islands will flood.
A 1 meter rise in the water level will mean that people won't be able to live in 20% of Bangladesh. It also means that the river plains in the Nile Delta in Egypt will disappear. Flooding in China could make 30 million people lose their homes.
What is this paragraph talking about?
A. Sea levels. B. Farming. C. Wildlife. D. We can help. E. Glaciers and ice caps. F. Droughts. A. Sea levels.
So, sea levels will rise and there will be floods. Millions of people will lose their homes. Now, let's look at the meanings of these words. Grapes, olives, insects, problematic, plants. Let's find these words in the following text.
Farmers won't grow the same things. Countries in the north will be able to grow grapes and olives. Insects won't die in cold winters and will become more problematic.
And without enough water, some hot countries won't be able to grow plants at all. World food levels will fall by about 20%.
This paragraph is talking about A. Sea levels. B. Farming. C. Wildlife. D. We can help. E. Glaciers and ice caps. F. Droughts. B. farming.
What are the problems that this paragraph is talking about? Insects won't die. Food levels will fall by about 20%. In the world's drier nations, wells will empty, lakes will become polluted, and it will rain less. More and more of these regions could become deserts.
And forest fires will happen more often as regions became drier. The Great Plains of the USA could become very dry.
This paragraph is talking about A. Sea levels, B. Farming, C. Wildlife, D. We can help, E. Glaciers and ice caps, F. Droughts, F. Droughts. So what will happen to the world's drier nations? Wells will be empty. Lakes will become polluted and it will rain less. They could become deserts. And forest fires will happen. Now, look at these words. Affect, polar bears, hunt, adapt. Now, let's read the next paragraph.
Changes to the weather will affect the homes and food of animals in most regions. For example, polar bears will die out when the glaciers melt because they won't be able to hunt. Unfortunately, the changes may be too fast for animals to adopt or move.
This paragraph is talking about
Wildlife.
So, weather changes will affect many animals that will die. Now, let's look at these words in the last paragraph. Governments, agree, global warming, environment.
But it is not all bad news. If governments agree to slow down the global warming, some of these predictions may not come true. And we can all help by thinking about the environment in our daily life. It's not too late to help.
This paragraph is talking about D. We can help.
How can we help? If we slow down the global warming and think about environment.
What do you think? Which of the problems that we talked about will affect our country? Is it drought, floods, forest fires, or wildlife?
Look at these sentences. Wells will empty. Flooding in China could make 30 million people lost their homes. The changes may be too fast for animals to adapt or move.
We use will, could, or may to talk about the future. We use will when we are certain that this will happen in the future, 100% or 90%. We use may or could to say that this is possible to happen, but we are not sure of that. Now, look at the following sentences. Decide if the sentence is certain C or possible B.
1. The sea level may go up by 2 meters. P. This is possible. 2. Farmlands in the Nile Delta will disappear. C. This is certain. 3. Polar bears won't be able to catch food. C. This is certain. 4. More regions could become deserts. P. This is possible. 5. Some hot countries won't be able to grow food at all. C. This is certain. 6. These predictions may not come true. P. This is possible. Now write sentences about your predictions of the future. Use will, won't if you are certain, and may not, could if you are not certain. Possible. I think there will be a lot more cars in the future. India may become one of the greatest industrial countries.
Now, let's complete these sentences with will, won't, may, or could. By the year 2050, 1. Scientists will find cures for serious diseases. 2. People may take holidays in space.
3. We will all have electric cars. 4. People will read from virtual books. 5. We may live in underground cities.
6. People may grow food in space stations. 7. Students will write on special electronic paper.
8. Tourists will carry small electronic travel guides. 9. People won't travel in time.
I wish you enjoyed our lesson for today. Take care and goodbye.